Welcome again to my channel. Please like, subscribe, and share. We live in a world of endless beverage choices, from your morning coffee to that craft beer after work, or even just a bottle of purified water. We take our drinks for granted. But imagine a time when none of these were readily available or even safe. What did people in the Middle Ages really drink? Forget everything you think you know about medieval taverns and the drinks they served. The reality was far more complex and often quite dangerous. You might assume water was the primary drink, and in many ways it was. Everyone needed water to survive, just as we do today. However, the quality of that water was a constant life threatening gamble. Clean water was an extreme luxury, almost unheard of for the common person. Rivers, streams, and even wells in populated areas were often heavily polluted. Waste, both human and animal, flowed freely into water sources. Drinking directly from these sources was incredibly risky. It was a leading cause of disease, from dysentery to cholera, which could decimate entire communities. People knew through bitter experience that water could make you very sick. This brings us to the true staple of the medieval diet, beer. Brewing was an incredibly widespread practice, happening everywhere from grand monasteries to humble households. It was a fundamental part of daily life. The brewing process itself was a form of purification. Boiling the water killed most harmful pathogens, making the resulting drink far safer than untreated water. This wasn't understood scientifically, but the practical benefits were undeniable. Barley was the primary ingredient, providing the fermentable sugars needed for alcohol production. It was a readily available and easily cultivated grain across much of Europe. This made beer accessible to almost everyone. Hops, though not always used in early medieval brewing, became increasingly popular. They provided a distinctive bitterness and, crucially, acted as a natural preservative. This allowed beer to be stored for longer periods without spoiling. Beer was consumed universally by all social classes. Peasants drank it with every meal, and nobles enjoyed more refined versions. Even children drank a weaker, less alcoholic version known as small beer. Beyond safety, beer offered significant nutritional value. It provided essential calories and carbohydrates, making it a vital part of the medieval diet. For many, it was a liquid meal, sustaining them through hard labor. While beer dominated the north, wine was king in grape-thriving regions, particularly in southern Europe. Its popularity was deeply tied to geography and climate, where vineyards flourished. Wine was often a symbol of status and wealth. Fine wines were enjoyed by the nobility and clergy, signifying their elevated social standing. It was a drink of celebration and refinement. However, wine was also a practical drink. It was frequently diluted with water, sometimes up to 5 parts water to 1 part wine. This extended the supply and made it less intoxicating for daily consumption. Spice variations were common, especially among the wealthy. Drinks like hippocras were made by infusing wine with various herbs and spices, such as cinnamon, ginger, and cloves. These were often served as digestives or at banquets. Beyond grape wine, other fruit wines were also produced. Apples yielded cider, pears made perry, and various berries were fermented into their own alcoholic beverages. These offered regional diversity in taste and availability. Mead, a honey based alcoholic drink, held a special place in medieval culture. It was sweet, potent, and often associated with ancient traditions and festive occasions. Its production depended on the availability of honey. Herbal infusions were also common, though not always for pleasure. Various concoctions were brewed for medicinal purposes, using a wide array of plants and roots. These could be bitter or surprisingly palatable. Some medieval drinks included truly unusual or bizarre components. Recipes sometimes called for ingredients like ground pearls, animal blood, or even specific types of earth. These were often tied to alchemical beliefs or folk remedies. Drinking in the Middle Ages was rarely a solitary act. It was a deeply communal experience, central to social life and interaction. Beverages were shared, fostering bonds and camaraderie. Taverns, alehouses, and feasts were bustling hubs of interaction. These were places where news was exchanged, deals were struck, and stories were told. They were vital social centers in every town and village. Drinks fostered community building in a very real sense. Sharing a tankard or a goblet brought people together, creating shared experiences and strengthening social ties. It was a fundamental part of medieval society. So, the next time you pour yourself a drink, consider the fascinating and often bizarre drinking culture of the Middle Ages. It was a world where survival often depended on what you chose to quench your thirst. Could you survive a medieval drinking session? Would you brave the murky water or embrace the daily beer? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this journey into medieval libations intriguing, please give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe for more historical insights and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload.